Hey, welcome back. I'm your host, Rich Weber, with the Florida Aviation Network, and we're broadcasting from the Howard Hughes exhibit in the Florida Air Museum at Sun and Fun 2013 here at Lakeland Linder Regional Airport as a tongue twister in Lakeland, Florida. And we've got a great turnout today. I just was talking with Captain Bob Rasky with United Airlines and talking about the pilot gap. And I'm pleased to welcome our next guest, Angela Anderson with Aspen Avionics. Welcome.
Hi, thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for taking some time out to talk to us and give us some informative information about Aspen Avionics. So tell me, how did you get involved with Aspen? Tell me a little bit about your background with this.
Well, Rich, I grew up in an aviation family. My dad's a pilot, always been a private pilot. He's a experimental builder as well now.
Really? What's he fly?
He's got a Cessna 170, and right now he's flying an RV-7 as well.
Excellent.
So he's wild about it. So I did grow up flying around in the back seat with him and eventually the front seat, and got my pilot's license about 10 years ago now, and got into working in aviation. Started out as on the line crew at an FBO, and kind of worked my way up.
It starts that way, yeah.
A bit serendipitous, my career path, but now I'm at Aspen Avionics out in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Excellent. Everybody, Aspen is quite a well-known avionics company now, and something that everybody longs to have in their aircraft is another one of the great avionics companies. So they got some good products.
Yeah,
so.
we've got about 5,500 installations out there, and that's aircraft. Some of those have multiple units in them, but we've got about 5,500 planes out there flying around with our equipment now.
Excellent.
So we're really proud of that.
That is good. It's good numbers. Aspen's been around since 2004.
2004, and then our primary flight display was certified in 2008. And our multifunction displays followed that in 2009.
Excellent. Well, that's and anybody that's not familiar with Aspen, they need to go to the Aspen website, aspenavionics.com.
That's correct. You got that right.
and look at the product line. What all is available out there for them?
So, I can give you a little history of the folks who started the company. There was two brilliant engineers had this wonderful idea, saw a need in the retrofit market, and our equipment is a digital replacement to primary flight instruments. So those traditional analog instruments can now be brought into the 21st century. And the really cool thing
Meaning
about
the old steam gauges.
That's right.
Okay.
That's correct.
Just wanted to clarify that for the viewers, because that's some of our viewers are old school pilots, and then of course we have some that haven't ever flown on steam gauges and may not know what that means.
Right.
So.
We're in a crossover time now where we've got a lot of the old instrumentation out there still flying around, but a lot of it's going into the digital format. So the really cool thing about our equipment is that it retrofits right into that existing steam gauge instrument hole, that 3-inch instrument hole. You slide out the old instrument, pop in the new, connect your GPS and your autopilot, and you're off and running.
So what they can do is they can just replace one instrument if they want to, rather than having to replace the whole panel or the whole six-pack?
That's right. That's another great thing about our product line is it's meant to be, it's affordable because it's modular. And folks can come in, start with one unit, replace their attitude, altitude, airspeed, get an HSI on the bottom, and do that one unit, come in the next year during annual, put it in a multifunction display and add on some moving map functionality, some instrument approach charts, synthetic vision, the whole bit.
Excellent. Well, that gives them so many options, that if they can maybe only afford to do one at a time, then they could, like you say, they could just say they want to decide, my attitude indicator went bad or my directional gyro. They can just replace that one.
And that is our prime candidate, is when that gyro goes down. And now they've got options.
That's a big deal. Now, talking about the gyros is now Aspen, they've got, obviously you can go complete glass and everything, but they also have probably some backup standby systems.
We do have a standby system that is out on the market. We've actually just got picked up by Piper Aircraft, which is very exciting. So we're on their Seneca series, and we can see that out here at their static display here at Sun and Fun. So yes, it's a nice transition for folks if you've already got a glass panel system to not have to transition back to mechanical gauges for your backup. You can stick with the digital. It's a familiar look and feel. Plus, you get the great reliability of the digital sensor boards. You don't have the moving
Sure.
parts in there like you would with the gyro.
Right, which means less chance of it, like you said, going bad, of failure, and probably maybe even a longer life.
Yes, and a longer life if you happen to lose ship power. Those units do have a built-in backup battery. We were going to talk a little bit about the safety in aviation.
Absolutely.
And that's a huge bonus with our system, that you get this backup battery power to get you safely to a location, to get on the ground. And
that's huge, because when you're up there in the clouds and you don't have anything you can see, but somebody sitting next to you can't see outside, then you want to be able to be as safe as you can.
You don't want to be looking at a dark panel.
You don't want to look at a dark panel, because trust me, that would not be a fun time. So that is a great safety system of the Aspen. So we've talked about that you can replace just individual instruments, or then there's also then a multifunction panel that can fit in. Right?
You can slide, in that standard 6-pack arrangement of those instrument holes. Those fit right over the 2 holes. So once you're ready to add onto your system, you can add on a multifunction flight display, and that's going to give you more moving map capability, the instrument approach charts that are geo-referenced, so you can put your own ship display right there on the approach chart. And it just gives the pilot a lot of situational awareness. There's so much data out there that we're managing in the air right now, and it's only going to get more information to manage in the cockpit. And when you have these digital tools now that help you consolidate that information into one place, and you really get that snapshot just in one glance of what's around you, and position of your aircraft and everything, it's brings that level of safety up.
That will bring a level of safety up. Now, you can, like we said, we can do the individual ones. But there's also a very popular one that replaces just the attitude indicator and the directional gyro. Is that correct? I've seen that.
Yes, we have 2 flavors of PFD. We have the pilot, which is, as you're saying, is the attitude, airspeed, altimeter, and then it's just a slaved DG on the bottom.
Okay.
And then we've got the Pro version, which gives you the HSI on the bottom. And you can add on the synthetic vision. You can tie in your autopilot.
That's excellent. Because, of course, synthetic vision is, a new coming up in the future, and that's something that's really it's an enhancement to the safety, and a lot of people like that. So it's incredible that we're bringing this into general aviation aircraft.
Yes, it's a great opportunity for folks to hold on to their older airframes. It's a perfectly good airplane, but allows them to bring the technology up to the current digital
standards in the industry.
That's right. That's right.
Now, also Aspen I guess is going to has some types of GPS units. In other words, some navigational.
So
panels.
And I'm glad you brought this up, because one of our product development philosophies is that we want our equipment to work with as many different types of manufacturers as possible. So we know our customer base, they've got panels that have all manner of equipment in them. They've been through 3, 4, 5 lifetimes, owners and people overhauling the panel.
They just keep sinking money into them, right?
That's right.
Good money
that's
after
right.
bad.
So our equipment does tie into most every primary GPS that's out there. All the Garmin's, the Bendix, all of those type of GPS systems, as well as autopilots. So it makes it much easier, more affordable. You're not having to gut your whole panel to get the modern technology.
Yeah, and that modern technology is what is, it's the leading edge now. It's what everybody wants, and everybody's interested in having a glass cockpit. Now, one thing that, like we talked about early on, is the old steam gauges and everything that, having flown on those as well, personally, it's good. There's, I think, what I've been hearing when I talk to people, that they have these young people that have no clue what it's like to fly on the old steam gauges, and they're just used to having a glass cockpit and having knowing what their true airspeed is, because it tells them right there, versus their indicator airspeed. So there's a lot of advantages for the new glass cockpits. I guess is where I'm going with this. The steam's fine, but hey, it's time to move on, and Aspen's providing that. They're providing this new multifunction display that can be, I guess, then retrofitted to most every general aviation aircraft out there. I mean, if
That's right.
we can fit it in.
And we've taken it a step further. A couple years ago, in 2011, we announced our connected panel technology.
What is it?
And what connected panel is it in a nutshell, it allows you to tie in a mobile device, so an iPad or an iPhone, and exchange data between that mobile device and your certified avionics. So it
like
was
you could,
a huge accomplishment as far as getting that through the FAA and getting the certification on that.
Well, that's pretty interesting. So that's like you could take in, if you had, say, whether it's ForeFlight or the Garmin MyPilot, or, one of these that has the maps on there and has all the approach plates on there, and it'll actually bring it right into your display.
So our main development partner, one of our main development partners on that system was ForeFlight. And we've got this on demonstration over at our booth here at Sun and Fun. And basically what you can do is pull up your ForeFlight, input your flight plan, and hit the Aspen Connect button, and it flows right through the Aspen multifunction display and then over into your, for example, a Garmin 430W or 530W GPS.
No way.
So instead of twisting knobs on your GPS and
having
entering
to
a
put
string
that
of
whole flight plan
waypoints,
in,
that's right. Just in a matter of seconds, it's almost instantaneous that it loads that flight plan up. And that data gets synced back and forth. So if you update in your GPS, it syncs back to your iPad.
Excellent. Because I can tell you that I can put all the flight plan in at an iPad, and then I've got to dial it all into the to, like I say, a 430 that I'm flying with right now, and then you get up in the New York area or anywhere around DC. Next thing you know, there's going to be an amendment to your routing, most likely.
Right.
So then here you are, you're going back in and changing and amending that. So it's going to. You can do it on the if you did on the iPad, it's going to automatically update it on the Aspen.
That's right. It's pretty amazing stuff, and the future of that. We've got over 19 industry partners that are working on building software and hardware to integrate with that system. So all of that data that, if you can imagine, all that data that can come out of a panel, all the engine data, your flight plan data, all of that information,
can all
especially
be displayed on the Aspen,
can be piped out into your iPad and manipulated and made useful, especially in a training environment. That's huge.
Now, how is this going to go between like the iPad and the panel? Is that going to be through Bluetooth, or how does that work?
It's a Wi-Fi connection.
A Wi-Fi connection.
So we have there's a blind mounted box that we produce that's installed behind the panel, and that ties into the Aspen displays, and then the wireless connection it's a little Wi-Fi antenna that talks to the iPad.
Excellent. Now you're going to get people are going to question, hey, I have Wi-Fi now. Can I get on the internet while I'm flying? So be ready for that.
Well, we've worked very hard, and that was the huge hurdle we had with the FAA, is to prove that the system is encrypted, that there's not going to be any risk of having that hacked.
Sure, that kind of compromise with the integrity and all.
That's right.
Excellent.
So.
Well, this has been very informative. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, but you've given us a lot of information about Aspen Avionics, and I think that it's time for everybody to come out to Sun and Fun, come to the booth, get on the website, aspenavionics.com, find out what kind of products we have. So, right. Angela, thanks for coming out and
Thank you so
speaking.
Much for having me.
I'm your host, Rich Weber, with the Florida Aviation Network. We've been talking with Angela Anderson with Aspen Avionics. And stay tuned. We've got some more interesting guests, and we'll be back with you shortly.